Wondra sits in a jail cell. He is back in Idaho, accused of killing young Michael Vaughan.
You're pure evil. You have no heart. You have no soul.
Wondra is accused of murdering her then 5-year-old son in 2021. Would you think you'll ever get the answer as to why?
No, because there is no answer to why. Why would somebody hurt an innocent little boy? What answer could you give? What answer could you possibly give? How scared was he? Did he ask for me? Did he ask for Tyler?
Stacey Wondra has been charged with first-degree murder and second-degree kidnapping and destruction of evidence.
Michael "Monkey" Vaughan went missing from his Fruitland neighborhood on July 27, 2021.
This is a criminal investigation.
Now, more than 4 years later, in newly unsealed court documents, Fruitland police named 4 people they believed are involved in Michael's murder. Those 4 names are ones we've heard before.
This is Sarah Wondra. This is Sarah's husband, Stacey Wondra. This is Brandon Shirtliff, Adrian Lucien.
As for what these 4 people have in common, they were all staying at the Wondras' home when Michael disappeared in 2021. That's just half a mile from Michael's home where he was last seen. In the PCA, police pointed to video evidence they say showing Shirtliff walking around the neighborhood. They say Shirtliff helped move Michael's body in a duffel bag temporarily to his mom's home in Kuna before standing guard as they buried him in the Wondras' Fruitland backyard. Stacey Wondra told police the 4 hoped to sell Michael for $10,000 each. He says the idea came from Adrian Lucien. Idaho News 6 is now learning Lucien was arrested and released in Indiana in October for a traffic-related misdemeanor. Sarah Wondra is currently serving time in the Idaho State Prison System for unrelated charges. She's eligible for parole in early 2026.
Karen, is there any connection between the Vaughan family and the home where police had been searching?
No, we've heard this more than once from the family representatives and from the police department that there is no connection between the Vaughan family and the home where this search took place.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
An hour's worth of body camera footage showing Stacey Wondra FaceTiming with detectives and directing to where Monkey's body was buried in his backyard.
It's like right under that mound area. It's right under the mound. About where at compared to the trees?
A little like right to the right of the trees area. It should be, it should be a garbage bag.
Okay, what color is the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only have two colors.
Is the duct tape still going to be over his mouth?
It should be.
Okay.
I didn't watch take them off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
He claims he watched the burial happen.
Okay. How far down is Michael?
I don't know how far she actually dug.
And the she he's referring to, that's his wife Sarah, another suspect in the case. Stacey says Adrian, a third suspect, was also there for the burial.
Out of 300 homes, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the home where Stacey, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian lived.
As Joe mentioned, a newly released probable cause affidavit filed in June lays out the interviews following Michael's disappearance. Again, during these initial searches, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the fence line of the home where Stacey Wondra, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates, Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian, lived. All four of those individuals have been named people of interest in Michael's disappearance. One of Michael's neighbors told police they saw Michael riding a bike outside of the Wondras' home the day that he disappeared. Another neighbor said they saw that same tricycle at the Wondras' home during a garage sale months before Michael disappeared. The Wondras initially denied any involvement, but then in November of 2022, Stacey asked to meet with investigators. The PCA states Stacey claims he was home the night Michael was allegedly abducted and saw Sarah carrying Michael into the house. Stacey allegedly told police it was Adrian's idea to take a child to sell for money, and they would get a $10,000 cut. Stacey claims Sarah told everyone to, quote, follow her lead. Stacey told investigators they took him to Brandon's mother's home in Kuna that night, where they left Michael overnight. Stacey claims the other three returned to Brandon's mom's house the next day and brought Michael back to the Wanderers' home in Fruitland. Stacey told police Michael was not alive, and Sarah and Adrian buried him in the Wanderers' backyard. 2 days after Stacey's interview with police, they executed a search warrant and excavated the Wanderers' backyard. The affidavit says cadaver dogs alerted to the same area where Stacey told detectives Michael's body was buried, but to this day, Michael has not been found.
Hello, everybody. It's great to have you here. Today is August 5th, 2026. Welcome into Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. I missed you guys so much. I am so glad to be here today going over another important piece of Stacey Wondra's preliminary hearing. Today we will go over Stacey Wondra's FaceTime with his mother. We're going to hear part of Juanita Kelleher's testimony that she gave at Stacey Wondra's preliminary hearing. And then for those that don't know, Juanita Kelleher is one of the detectives that was questioning Stacey Wondra in all of the footage that we have been watching over the past several weeks. Let's see who we have here. Under Your Scars is here. It's so good to see you. Hair Curlers in Crime is here. Thank you so much, love, for coming. Opal is here with a beautiful message. She says, just a gentle reminder, you matter. Don't ever give up on yourself, and don't listen to others who give up on you. Thank you so much for that beautiful message, Opal. We love having you here in chat. Court case Courtney is here. Samantha, I missed you. I hope you and your husband had a great anniversary. He had a good birthday. We had a great vacation celebrating his birthday and our anniversary. Our anniversary actually isn't until tomorrow. The end of our vacation wasn't too great. As soon as we got home, I don't even think we were in town an hour, and I was immediately up at the hospital because I was passing a very big kidney stone. I still feel like my back was beat up by a baseball bat. I've just been in a lot of pain. And I was on the phone with Brandy over the weekend, and she's like, well, at least it didn't happen while you were at the beach, and we are so thankful that it did not happen while we were at the beach. But we had a great time. We had some very, very good seafood while we were gone. We got to enjoy each other's time. We got to beat each other in some games of, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting the game we play? Well, we played dice and we played some cribbage, and I beat him and he beat me. We just had a very good time. Our room looked over the ocean in Lincoln City, so it was absolutely gorgeous. Shannon is here. So good to see you. Thank you, my beautiful moderators, for coming in. I really, really appreciate you here. Jen is in the house. It is, I would rather give birth than to have a kidney stone, honestly. It hurts like hell. Let's see. Who else is here? We got Liard here in the house. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you guys all for coming, supporting Michael Vaughan and the Vaughan family. We support Michael and Michael's family here at Missing PNW. Baby Kisses is in the house. Thank you guys all for coming in and hitting that like button. It does help get things out in the algorithm, which really helps bring awareness for Michael Vaughan. All in the Tanks is here. Thank you so much for being here. I feel like I've been away so long. Kimberly is here. Clever Phase is here. Miss Rizzo is in the house. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Tara is here. Thank you for coming. Karen was here first, she says. Thank you guys for coming. And thank you, Rogue, so very much. I can't believe we're celebrating 32 years of being married, 35 years of being together. It's crazy. And there have been not very many downs. Me and my husband have a great relationship. So I'm truly blessed to have such an amazing husband. And he is blessed to have me, I am sure. As we're moving forward, the next download I seem to be having a problem with. Like, everything's downloaded to my computer. For some reason, YouTube has given me hell trying to download this other big file. It is all of Juanita Kelleher's testimony. I'll work on that after the live. And then we'll be moving forward with that either tomorrow or Thursday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, our anniversary. I know we're going to do something, don't know what. I don't even know if we're going to go spend the day with the grandkids like we normally do, but make sure you hit your notification bell in case I do decide to go live tomorrow. Trying to get through this preliminary hearing this week because Miss Brandy will be joining me in a series of lives to go over Michael's case, to give us all a perspective on Michael's life, Michael's abduction, what it was like looking for Michael after he was abducted, what their family has been through over the past 4.5 years. We're going to talk about law enforcement agencies and how they have investigated this case and even investigated the Vaughan family. We're going to talk about the polygraphs that were done on the Vaughan family. We're going to be talking about the suspects and so much more. We're going to end the series with a Q&A to give people an opportunity to ask Brandy some questions. If you have questions about Michael's case, she's super excited to do these this series of lives. Brandy is ready to talk. She's tired of being quiet. She is worried in the past that her talking could hurt feelings of other people. She's worried that it would take away from Michael's case. But I think that her giving her perspective on their life over the last 4.5 years will actually help Michael and help Michael's case. And she's starting to see that now too. Yeah, she is just ready to tell their family's story and Michael's story. And this is only the beginning. Brandy is making big plans for big things. And she is hoping that their story will help other families of missing people to, see through the darkness that they face when a loved one comes up missing. And she's just ready to talk. She's been quiet about all of this for a very long time. And since she's had her surgery and since she's gotten better and more healthy, her memory has gotten better and she's remembering a lot more. And she, because she was so sick, she was quiet for a very, very long time. And she just doesn't want to be quiet anymore. She is ready to talk about Michael and Michael's story. I'm excited to have her here to do these lives with me. I'm preparing some questions for her. She has been putting together some things that she wants to talk about and things she wants to touch bases on, and we're going to be hearing all about it. She will be taking a trip to go see her father here soon as he's getting a knee surgery done, and she's going to help him with that for a week or so, but that's not till towards the end of May. But I'm really looking forward to hearing Brandy talk and, tell us about what they've gone through. And although it is not going to be easy for her, it's actually going to be difficult. She says that she thinks this is going to help her heal in many ways, being able to talk about it, especially on this channel where so many people support her and love her. And she's excited to tell Monkey's Army everything. We are here today because Michael Joseph Vaughan was abducted in Fruitland, Idaho on July 27th of 2021. There are 4 named suspects named by law enforcement: Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Adrian Lucien, and Brandon Shirtliff. You'll get a sneak peek, Brandon Shirtliff, about some things that Juanita Kelleher says about you today, so I hope you're out there listening. Stacey Wondra has already had his preliminary trial, and there was probable cause to push forward to his trial coming up in September of 2026. That should be about a month long. And Sarah Wondra in October of 2026 will be arrested and charged, right along with Stacey, for first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Adrian Lucien planned this entire thing planned with Sarah to sell Michael so that they could each collect $10,000. That is his reason for coming to Idaho. And all of these suspects are suspects for a reason. We know that they have involvement in Michael's abduction and murder because of everything that they have said. Stacey Wondra has pretty much confessed to seeing everyone else abduct and murder Michael, but tries to deny having any other involvement, and I call BS on that. Sarah and Brandon know, or just Brandon knows exactly where Michael is now. Stacey Wondra told detectives that they could find Michael Vaughan buried in their backyard, the Wondra's backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland, Idaho. And that yard was excavated, and police had determined that Michael Vaughan was once in the Wondra's backyard and moved to an unknown location, and Brandon Shirtliff knows that location. Sarah Wondra could also very well know that location because those were the only two suspects that were at the residence at the time when Stacey Wondra told detectives that that's where they could find Michael, and had been there for several months prior to that while Stacey was incarcerated. And today, like I said, we'll be hearing more of Stacey Wondra's confessions to his mother, and he'll be in a room with no detectives and nobody, telling his mom that Michael did pass and that it was accidental suffocation by Sarah Wondra. It is very difficult to listen to everything in this case, and I do understand that. So please, please protect your mental health always. And if it's hard for you to listen to, you can always come back another time, join us for another live, or you can always watch the replay at your discretion in bits and pieces. If somebody out there has more information about Michael's abduction and murder, and that tip line phone number is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. You can call anonymously. You can collect over $50,000 if it brings detectives to where Michael Vaughan is now. You don't want to hold that kind of information in your heart for too long, because you need to get it off your chest. You need to talk about it. That's a god-awful feeling to feel. So please, please call that tip line. Get it off your chest, 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. I hope everybody spreads the word that Brandy Vaughn's going to be joining us in a series of lives. I'm very excited to have her come up and talk about everything, as difficult as it will be for her and for myself. She was reading bits and pieces out of her journal to me over the phone, and it's so very disheartening to hear. We, especially those who have became friends with Brandy, it's very hard to hear some of the things, because I love her so very much, and I know a lot of you do too. So it will be difficult, but it will be a good thing for her. As we have talked about, it's part of the healing process. Their family is planning things for this spring and summer and trying as hard as they possibly can to start living their lives again. Oh, there's Mama right there. Good evening, Miss Brandy. She says, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here for Michael. It is truly a blessing. We just absolutely love having you here in chat, Mama. Thank you for coming in. Under your scars. Tip details on, let me see this. Hold on. Trying to get to you here. Tip details on Tim's solution for kidney stones helps pass kidney stones more quickly by relaxing. Improves stone clearance rates compared to 7.5% without it, and never felt it passing. Oh my gosh, that is a true blessing. Thank you so much for the super chat and for letting me know how to deal with my next kidney stone. Lord help me if I have another one. Let's do a little dance and thank under your scars for that super chat, because you are super. Oh, don't tell me that. StreamYard's been in and out all day. Ugh. I hope everything works out for me today. Today feels like a Monday for me and my husband. I think anything that could go wrong went wrong today. Mama says, I hope everything is doing well. I am doing pretty dang good. Got a stable bill of health. The sun is shining and we are stronger than ever. Michael Joseph Vaughan, Joseph for Michael Vaughan. We are stronger than ever. We're Monkey's Army. We're never, ever going anywhere. We are here to support the Vaughan family. And I just appreciate you all, just like I know the family appreciates you all for being here and supporting the family always. Monkey's Army has grown so much since I started this case, and I feel absolutely blessed to be a part of Monkey's Army. I know I am not going anywhere until all 4 suspects are arrested, are facing charges, whether that be the rest of their life in prison or the death penalty, because I'm all for that, especially when it comes to a child's death. I mean, it was out of pure greed that the 4 of these monsters abducted and murdered Michael. They abducted him to sell him so they could each make $10,000, which in my brain is such an insult, because there's not even enough money out there to pay for a child or to pay for the Vaughan family's pain and heartache that they have suffered over the past 4.5 years not having Michael. Brandy says that she woke up dancing today. I love that for you. I absolutely do. I even did in public grocery shopping all by myself. You are just kicking ass and not taking any names. You just keep on going, Mama. I absolutely love that so much. Oh my gosh, and yeah, off topic, but Tanner Horner got the DP today for Athena Strand. I actually did a little bit of a short today because he is such a monster. I have been following that case and watching that hearing, and that is some of the most grossest, disgusting human being I've ever heard of in my entire life. And it's difficult. So just a warning in case you ever want to look into it. It is very disturbing case to hear or know about in any way, shape, or form. I'm just glad that she got justice and it was served. You know, that monster, Tanner, actually admitted to what he did, unlike these 4 suspects, where none of them will admit anything. They all deflect from their actions, including Stacey, even though he confesses he takes no responsibility for doing anything. I don't in any way, shape, or form believe that all he did was go to his bedroom because he was just so disgusted with the fact that Sarah had kidnapped Michael. And I think that the real truth will come out the more suspects get arrested. And I do not think that Stacey Wondra is going to keep her mouth shut for too very long. I think she's going to start throwing people under the bus right and left, just like Stacey has done. And Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucien are really running out of time because October is going to come around and slap us all in the face here real quick. And so will Stacey Wondra's trial when it starts. It's right around the corner, guys. I feel like 2026 just started and we're already 5 months into 2026. Almost half the year is gone already. Damn, that's just crazy. Yeah, I totally agree. He deserves to go straight to hell right along with these 4 people. Brandy, absolutely. Yeah, the parents listening to everything that was going on in the courtroom. I'm just glad they left when that recording started, because I have heard news reporters talk about what they heard come from that video, and I don't ever want to hear anything like that again. It was just it's just so heartbreaking. She was only 7 years old. Well, I've got my iced coffee sitting here. I'm doing my best to kick back with a little pillow behind my back. We're just going to get started. I've already got this video that we're going to go over today up. I believe it's almost 50 minutes long. It's like 40 something minutes long, so it won't be a very long live today. But I'm excited to go over everything. Let me just get my screen share up here. Hold on one second. And I'm glad we're getting into the rest of Juanita Kelleher's testimony, because she does go into detail with a lot of things. I've already actually done a short today. I'm not going to spoil it, though, for everybody else. This, again, is Stacey Wondra FaceTiming his mother after, I believe after, talking with detectives, after he confessed everything that he said he saw or what happened to Michael, in his words. So let's go ahead and get started right now. I'll be watching chat from my phone, so... Oh, let me put on some caption here. Okay. And here we go.
Okay, go ahead and be seated.
Is this sounding really muffled to anybody else? Just curious. I'm trying to figure out if it's my headset. Can you guys let me know in chat whether or not... Okay, you guys can hear it. Why does it sound so distorted on my end?
All right, so we are resuming our preliminary hearing. This is day 3, the matter of State of Idaho v. Stacey Wondra, case CR 3825-1295. Is the state ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
And is the defense ready?
We are.
All right. So Ms. Kelleher was on the stand yesterday, I presume. Is she in the room right now? She's in the hallway. All right. Does the state intend to simply continue?
Okay, well, as long as it sounds great for you guys, because it doesn't sound great for me. So I'm going to just keep going, and I can just read. I mean, I can kind of hear, but I'm hearing a lot of distortion on my end. So I'm just going to make sure all my stuff's plugged in good and keep playing. Thank you guys for the feedback.
With her
That's correct, Your Honor.
examination. All right, well, we can invite her back in the room, please. Since it's the next day, I'm just going to have her re-sworn. Ms. Kelleher, if you'll come down between the tables here and raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear and or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Yeah, if you retake the stand there. Are we using media during her testimony? That's my question. Do we need to think about where she's sitting besides the witness stand?
1 second, Judge.
Yeah,
Yes, Your Honor. We have one last exhibit to publish. It's a 22, 20, maybe a 28-minute video, so it's shorter than everything that went on yesterday, and it's a singular video. But I don't think we need to have a microphone in front of Miss.
You're not going to question her. Oh, she's
correct. We're just going to publish it and then finish our direct examination.
well. If there's not going to be an examination while the media is being shown, unless you feel weird sitting underneath the monitor, you can stay there.
Second, guys. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to X out of this and I'm going to pull this back up. Hold on 1 second. It's only going to take me a quick moment. Hold on. Well, that didn't help me on my end, but as long as you guys can hear it, that's all that matters to me. So Juanita will start off and then I'm not sure what she says here at the beginning, and then it goes into the FaceTime with Stacey Wondra's mom. If StreamYard was acting up today, this could be the reason why we're having some issues. All right, here we go.
It's a 22, 20, maybe a 28-minute video, so it's shorter than everything that went on yesterday, and it's a singular video. But I don't think we need to have a microphone in front of Miss.
You're not going to question her. Oh, she's
correct. We're just going to publish it and then finish our direct examination.
well. If there's not going to be an exammination while the media is being shown, unless you feel weird sitting underneath the monitor, you can stay there. Otherwise, you're welcome to move over to the jury box while that's happening.
Oh, bring it on. We can sit
Okay.
here.
Oh, I apologize.
It's all right.
My apologies, all right. I believe the computer's off. May I approach and
Yes.
turn the computer on? Thank you.
Should we take a break for a minute? It's going to take a few minutes.
I think it'll be good. Just have Tamera. And this is going to be, just for the record, this is exhibit 14, which has previously been admitted.
Hey, buddy. What's happening?
Just got done talking to the detectives.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Told them everything.
Yeah. I'm proud of you for that, babe. I know it wasn't easy. I know it wasn't easy.
Sorry.
I know you are, babe. I know. Huh?
You that don't know, Stacey Wondra's mom, Tamera, she played a big role in Stacey coming forth and talking to law enforcement. She is an amazing person. She was an amazing mom. She did everything she could to help Stacey Wondra get the help that he needed growing up. And the last straw for her was when he, unalived their family cat. And she put him in developmental facilities, group homes. She did everything she possibly could to get him help, and it just didn't work. She's an amazing woman. Pretty much let Stacey know, like, if you cannot tell the truth and you can't, tell them everything that happened, then, she pretty much threatened not to ever talk to him again. And he loves his mom. I truly believe that out of anybody in his life, he truly does love his mother. And, if it wasn't for her, I don't know if Stacey Wondra would have said anything to law enforcement. And you will see just how good she truly is in this FaceTime with Stacey.
Sweetheart, I know. I know. I know, babe. Were you completely honest with him about everything? That's very important, I have to take those off.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. Let you guys go.
I know, babe. I know. I know you are.
Nobody's never been caught in the middle of this. If it wasn't for her.
Sweetie, you have to take responsibility for your part, okay?
No.
You have to be a man. I'm being true to my word. I promised you if you said, if you told the truth, okay? I'm right here.
I'm just afraid of losing you guys.
Sweetie, I'm right here. I answered the phone. I answered the phone. Take a deep breath. I need you to do whatever you need to do, okay? To help. All right? You know, the Bible tells us if we confess our
You know, he does tell his mom that Michael is no longer alive and that it was by accidental suffocation on Sarah's part. And, you know, she lets him know you have to take responsibility for yourself, for your actions, and be a man. And I respect her so much for those words. And I also agree with several others in chat when they're saying that these tears are for himself and himself only. I've even wondered to myself whether or not they're real tears or fake tears, because you will see during all of this how quickly he stops those tears and gets upset. Again, I'm not going to give that away, but just watch his mannerism as things go by, as time moves forward in this video.
sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins. He's not going to take away the consequences, but he's going to forgive you because you know what, babe? You confessed. You confessed your part in it, but you have to be 100%.
And even his own mother calls it a confession. He confessed. You confessed. And I think that's huge because he is in a cell right now, all alone with no detectives, telling his mom exactly what he did tell detectives. There is no, you know, interrogated to the point of a false confession. And if that were even true, what is this? This is a confession to his mother with nobody around. There was and is no false confession. Stacey Wondra wanted the same deal that Sarah was offered a month prior to him coming forward and talking to law enforcement November of 2022. That's it, and that's all. Stacey didn't want to keep serving time and go down for everything if Sarah got the deal. So he tries to make this deal, and he didn't get it because they didn't find Michael in the backyard. Why? Because Michael Vaughan was moved by Brandon Shirtliff.
100% honest with them, okay? Okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm right here, buddy. Okay? You want to talk about it?
What?
Just anything?
Feel lighter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for the best, huh? Yeah. You've been carrying that burden for a while, haven't you? Yeah.
Want nothing to do with it.
Huh?
I don't want anything to do with it. Honestly. promise me you guys won't leave me if I have to go to prison for a long time.
Sweetheart, I'm right here. I'm right here. Huh?
I feel like Dad's not.
Sweetheart,
What do you think you're doing with me?
I can't speak for him. Right now, we're just like, we're still processing everything. I was hoping and praying that you were being honest with me, you know, but I knew in here, baby. I knew.
Now I'm just gonna be labeled as predator, man.
What?
I'm just gonna be labeled as a predator everywhere I go.
He says he's just going to be labeled as a predator, and he is so worried that his mom and his dad are just going to leave him to rot in prison. And I think that that is mainly because of the commissary, the money, the talks, and everything else. That's my personal opinion, and you know, him being a predator, hell yeah, we're all going to see you as a predator. We have seen you as a predator this entire time. A predator goes to places and search for children, and that's exactly what Stacey Wondra did. He left that house that day on July 27th of 2021 and went down to the splash pad, got out of his car, checked his door handles, and waved at children, and proceeded to leave there to go to another park, a skate park, and watch children all day. All day there. They all set out to find a child that day. They were all out hunting for a child to take, yes, Stacey Wondra, and yes, Brandon Shirtliff, Adrian Lucian, and Sarah Wondra. You're all predators, and that's how you've already been labeled. And it will only get worse as time goes on, and people, get charged and spend their lives in prison.
This evil person.
Sweetie, I love you.
What we do?
Where are you at right now?
And my father.
Are you by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Stacey Wondra even calls himself evil when talking to his mother. He just said, I'm an evil person. And that couldn't be any more true.
What did they say was going to happen now?
They were just gonna go out and
They were what?
they're just gonna go out and get Michael from where I told them he was.
Yeah.
They said that if everything turns out what I said and matches, that they were gonna fight for me.
Okay. Baby, is Michael alive?
Sarah accidentally killed him.
How?
Suffocation. They buried him in a duffel bag.
How was that an accident?
She didn't realize there was too much clothes on top of him.
Why did she take him?
And he was duct taped.
Why did she take him? Did she take him or did you?
No, I didn't take him. It was her and Adrian.
Where were you?
Sitting at home when they came walking in and Sarah was holding my.
Why was she gonna do that? Why?
I think she wanted to try to appease me with if it was a kid, like type of thing. Because we've been trying for so hard. And I looked at her and I said, "What the heck are you doing?" I said, "This is not." She goes, "Well, I just needed to make money." And I said,
You know, Stacey says that he thinks that Sarah wanted to appease him with a kid, but Stacey Wondra also says that it was Adrian's idea to sell Michael so they could each collect $10,000. So which one was it, Stacey? I mean, I believe the greedy is the most likely, part of this truth is that they were going to sell Michael to make money. I don't believe any of this. Sarah wanted to appease him with a kid because they have both stated that they didn't want to have children. Matter of fact, at one time, Stacey says he didn't want a kid. Then Stacey says that he did want a kid. I mean, it's gone back and forth, but I don't think that they wanted to have children. I don't think either one of them were ready to have children, even if they had wanted to, and thank God that they didn't.
"This is not how you do that." Well, the goal with her was so she could make money. And she was going to split it with Adrian. And I was completely out of the loop with everything.
How come you didn't say something?
I was scared too. I was scared. I knew. I told her. I said, you need to call the authorities. I said, "You need to report this. This is not okay." And she goes, "No, I'm not doing that."
Notice right here that he isn't looking at his mom as he tells his mom, I tried telling them that we needed to call the authorities, and he says Sarah said that, no, I'm not going to do that. Do you really see Stacey Wondra telling Adrian and Sarah once they've came into the house with Michael, hey, we need to call the authorities, like that's even going to happen? And he says he's scared, and we've talked about this before. I truly believe he was very scared of Adrian. He knew the people that Adrian knew, and I think he was terrified because if Adrian knew people that would buy a child, that's some pretty dangerous people. And he's always been scared of Sarah. Sarah's been the queen bee their entire relationship. She ran that house. She was in control of every single person in that house. She had tried to come at him with pew-pews, and he was scared of Sarah. And I do believe that he was scared, but I do not believe that he didn't have any kind of, nothing to do with the abduction of Michael. Like I said, he was out hunting just like they were for a child that day.
Are you sure it was an accident?
It was an accidental suffocation.
How did Brandon get involved?
Brandon's house was used to store Michael overnight.
Are you going to cooperate with him and testify?
I would.
Okay. You have to stick to that, buddy, okay?
And here, Stacey says that he is going to cooperate, that he's going to testify. So do that, Stacey. Testify. Testify about what you are saying you saw, what you said you saw Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian do to Michael. I mean, he's doing the opposite, trying to get away with what has happened, with what he is being charged with. Admit your participation in all of this and then testify against the 3 others. That's what Stacey Wondra, if he was trying to do the right thing, that's what Stacey would be doing. But that's not what he's doing. He is convinced that he is going to get off and that he will not spend the rest of his life in prison, that he's not going to get the DP. He truly believes that he is going to get off.
Well, I'm gonna die in prison. I'm gonna get myself killed. I'm gonna be able to see you again.
You're seeing me right now.
I don't have to do a chance in prison. Sorry, but I don't get to see you again.
You know what, sweetheart? You know what, sweetie? We're just gonna pray. God's gonna take care of you. But the main thing is you ask him for forgiveness. You've confessed your sins. You need to be honest about it. Like, seriously, confess everything, your whole part in it, no matter what that is, babe, no matter what. You understand? No matter what. You just be honest and you tell God. And he's gonna forgive you. And then, you know what? No matter what happens after that, you just read your Bible, you pray, you talk to God, and he'll be with you, baby. He will. He will. And then you don't have to fear. You don't have to fear dying. Okay? Because you know what? We can't fix what happened. We can't fix any of that. But you can be different. And even if you have to be different in jail, okay, you can be different and you don't have to be afraid of dying. Grandpa wasn't afraid of dying. And if you know Jesus and you've gotten forgiveness of your sins and he's in your heart, you'll get to see Grandpa. Okay? So no matter what, this is hard. It's going to be very hard. But you know what, baby? God has you, and he's not going to let you down. And all of the garbage that Sarah talked to you about, babe, that was not okay. Okay?
What do you mean? Garbage.
Garbage. Garbage. Remember when she called yelling, God said this, God said that?
Yeah.
When she got online and she started, quote, preaching, sweetheart, she's not speaking God's real truth. Okay? That's not God's real truth. What Lee and Lois, Grandma, Grandpa, and me, that's the truth. That's the truth, baby. Okay? I want you to take every single thing that Sarah said to you and throw it out the window. And know that the people that really love you are here. Okay? I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a tough one, babe. But I'm gonna love you.
Oh, it's heartbreaking to see her. I mean, I feel like she's just so disgusted with him, and yet, as good a woman as she is, she still loves her son. Even though he's done the unimaginable, participated in the unimaginable abduction and murder of Michael Joseph Vaughan. And it's heartbreaking to see such a wonderful mother go through this. And you hear her talking about Sarah. This is a godly woman, and she obviously does not like Sarah at all.
My heart is so broken. It is, it's broken, baby. I don't think I've had my heart broken like this before. But I do love you. Okay? I do love you. And do you realize, can't see, it takes a brave thing to tell the truth. It's a brave thing to admit you've made a mistake. Okay? Where you sent them, are they going to find him? Okay. Okay.
She asks, where you sent them, are they going to find him? Meaning Michael. And Stacey shakes his head yes, not knowing that Michael was not going to be in that backyard, not knowing that Michael had been moved, probably because the other suspects knew that Stacey would end up throwing them under the bus at some point. And just wanting to point out, like sitting in the courtroom here, watching this, I was also watching Stacey Wondra. He, at no time until the very end of this FaceTime video, does he look up at the screen while his mom is talking, while they're having this conversation. He can't. He knows and felt the guilt, the shame, and all of those things. While he's sitting in court listening to this conversation, he literally could not face his mom, even in this video. He doesn't even start paying attention to it until the end, where commissary and money starts being brought up and stuff. But that's what was going on in the courtroom. That's what I witnessed. Several other people witnessed that he could not watch this video.
Have you talked to my dad about this?
No, not yet. He knows a little bit.
Watch Stacey Wondra's demeanor change here when he starts talking about his dad in this conversation. As it moves forward, you are going to see him stop acting like this helpless child, faking, pretending to be all upset, crying, or maybe he's not. I don't know. But in my opinion, that's what he's doing. But you're about to see his demeanor change.
Nobody's gonna look at me the same. Just this big animal.
Baby, this is hard. I'm speechless and I'm sad and I don't know how to be, I'm trying to do what God would have me to do. He gave you to me to raise. And I did the very best I could. And I don't know how to handle this one. But I'm here. People will look at you different. I'm not gonna lie. I don't lie to you. There are actions. You're all blurry now. There you go. There are. Oh, Mom. The cat's gonna get your food. Thank you. There are actions that have consequences that even Mom can't buffer for you. These are babe, it's hard because had you said something in the beginning, but because you held on to it for so long, it's almost like you were participated, and the fact that you knew and you let his family suffer for so long, a long time, babe. Those are things that, it's hard. The night you called me, you knew. You knew.
You could see Stacey Wondra's demeanor change at this point immediately when his mom tells him You could have said something, but you didn't, and you waited a long time, and this family has been suffering. He got mad at his mom for even saying that, because all he wants in this moment is to get attention for doing something good, for confessing to law enforcement where Michael is and telling detectives everything, even though it was multiple different stories, until what police detectives believe is now the truth. But he's angry at his mom because he wants that pat on the back. He wants and needs that attention. And he instantly changes his demeanor when she brings up the fact that, okay, she doesn't say it like this, but it's kind of like, okay, you did good, but you could have done better because you could have said something sooner. And I really think that aggravated him.
And had you just come forward then, things might have been different. But we can't go and look at all that, baby. All we can do, look me in the eye, baby. Look at me. All we can do now is do the right thing from today. Okay? The right thing from today. Today forward, you can make good decisions, better decisions. Today forward, you can read your Bible, you can pray, you can talk to God. Okay? You don't have to give up. Okay? You might be in there, or you might be in prison, but you don't have to give up, and you don't have to give in to the temptations that are there. You can make good decisions now. Okay? From now on, good decisions.
Okay.
All right, baby.
Have you talked to my dad yet?
Which dad?
Not Jerry. Oh.
No, I haven't. Oh, you mean I haven't told him about this?
No, but I'm talking about the other. He said he was going to give me money or whatever.
He's not at the moment. Okay? He's not going to. He's not going to.
He said he wasn't going to help.
Yeah.
Why?
Sweetie, I'm not in his brain.
I can't believe that Stacey Wondra even asks why. Why isn't his dad gonna give him money? Well, probably because you just told detectives that you had involvement in the abduction and murder of a 5-year-old little boy, Michael Joseph Vaughan. And now he will start acting like this spoiled, rotten little boy who doesn't get his way. And yeah, he just changes. He's got no tears anymore. He's just mad because he's finding out that his dad's not going to give him any money. And why would he?
Love you.
I love you too, buddy. I did put $10 on your phone account. Is that phone account so that you can only call my phone number? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And I was really hoping my dad would follow through on his word because I don't have any way to make any other calls.
I know. I know.
Just don't understand why he would go and say he was gonna do anything and just play God.
Sweetheart, really? Really?
I mean, it's not surprising.
Okay. Babe, you need to focus on Stacey. Not calling a bunch of people anyway. Are you sure? Did you leave anything out, talking to them? No? You promised me you told them the truth?
Yes.
All of it, when you hide some of the truth, it's like lying and not telling the truth. Did you know that? Okay. It's very, very, very important. Very important. Oh, we've got 1 minute left.
Okay.
I love you, buddy.
Love you, Mom.
I love you too. Bye-bye.
We can turn the lights on if the court's willing.
So that is the end there of his FaceTime with his mom. You can tell she was very upset, very heartbroken. She even says, I'm heartbroken and never been heartbroken like this before. She still loves her son. Do we know whether or not those were real tears? We don't. We assume that they're not because, you know, Stacey Wondra plays a lot of games and it doesn't look genuine to me. And I know it doesn't look genuine to other people. And now we will start the beginning of Juanita Kelleher's testimony. I'm going to finish downloading that, the rest of that into YouTube Studio. I did have a problem with that today, and it very well could have been because StreamYard and YouTube are being ridiculous. But yeah, we're about to hear from Juanita Kelleher.
Your Honor, may I proceed with direct examination?
Yes.
Thank you. Detective Kelleher, just a reminder, still under oath. So we've just heard the videos of your interrogation of Stacey Wondra. What did you do after he had given these statements to you?
We applied for a search warrant and we began digging in the area that he told us to dig.
Okay, and where was the search? What property was a search warrant for?
The property belonged to Stacey and Sarah Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street in Payette County, Fruitland, Idaho.
Okay, and I'm going to ask the bailiff to recover State's Exhibit 5. All right, before you is State's Exhibit 5. Are you familiar with that property?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and what property is that?
This is the property of 1102 Red Wing Street.
And so once you got the search warrant, what did executing that search warrant look like?
We requested the assistance of Idaho State Police, who started the search in the yard. And so we were there to assist. They were kind of running the show.
Okay, and so were you present during that?
Yes,
And when did the search start?
that night.
Okay, and so would that be the 12th of November? Or the-
I don't remember exactly. Everything kind of drew together at that time.
Okay, so 11th or 12th of November. Okay. How long did you search in that yard?
Stays.
Okay, did you ever recover, Michael?
No, we did not.
At what point did you introduce cadaver dogs?
I believe it was the next morning.
And had there already been digging efforts when the cadaver dogs got there, when the first cadaver dogs got there?
Yes, there was a small area off the patio that we had begun.
And as part of the search effort, were any portions of the fence around the property removed?
What's that?
Were there any sections of the fence around the property that were removed?
There was to get equipment into the yard.
And what side of the property was that on?
The west side.
During your interviews with Stacey, did he ever mention what they did with their phones that they had at the time that this happened?
They said they got rid of the phones.
Okay, and particularly, was there any mention of a SIM card?
There was. On jail phone calls, he had mentioned that he removed the SIM cards from the phone because he didn't like to be fucking followed.
So Stacey Wondra says on phone calls from jail, from prison, that he took the SIM card out of his phone because he didn't like being fucking followed. That's being followed by law enforcement. He says that in a phone recording when he is not next to detectives, next to police officers, or whatever. He does that on his own free will, admits taking the SIM card out of his phone. That in itself is that destruction of evidence charge. He is getting rid of things that can prove him guilty of participating in the abduction and murder of Michael Vaughan.
And did you interpret that to mean followed by law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you recall when he made that statement?
I do not, but I did download the recording and add it to the case file.
And the cars that they had at the time that Mike went missing, did they keep those vehicles?
One,
And which one was that?
the Toyota, the blue Toyota.
Okay. Do you know what happened to the other vehicles?
The pickup was repossessed just a couple weeks after Michael, and then they sold the Lexus.
So notice, they kept the blue Toyota. They let the GMC truck get repossessed. It says in the probable cause affidavit that police, once talking with the people that repossessed it, said that it was clean, completely clean when they got it. Sarah even says something that is also written in the probable cause, like, I bet you they've never had anybody so happy to take a truck, or something to that effect. I don't remember it word for word right now, but they let the GMC get repossessed. Why did they do that? Because Michael was in the GMC truck in a duffel bag, duct tape, and driven all the way to Cuna. We know that. Stacey Wondra has said that. That's why they get rid of the GMC. They let it get repoed. Why is the Lexus sold? Well, we learned during the preliminary hearing, and you guys will hear it for yourself during the rest of the testimony by Juanita Kelleher, when she says that the Lexus was hit on by cadaver dogs. And that would be why they sell the Lexus. So they keep the Toyota. The Toyota had nothing to do with taking Michael, so they kept it. And they got rid of the two vehicles that Michael had been in. The Lexus was probably the car that was used to go back to Cuna the next day, get Michael, and bring him back to Fruitland. Why else sell the Lexus? This is, once again, just like the SIM card that Stacey Wondra took out of his phone. This is once again that destruction of evidence, getting rid of evidence that could prove that Sarah, Stacey, Adrian, and Brandon abducted and murdered Michael Vaughan.
Did he indicate whether or not they were still making payments on the Lexus when they sold it?
I don't know if he indicated that or not.
And did Stacey Wondra have a Facebook account?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and did anything happen with his Facebook account after Michael went missing?
I think it was TikTok, not the Facebook account, but there was posts and stuff removed from those accounts before we were able to get a search warrant on that.
And once again, things are being removed off of social media. This is also part of that destruction of evidence. Evidence, probably posts. I know there used to be a picture of Brandon shirtless, steam cleaning the carpet in front of the couch just days after Michael Vaughan was abducted. And we hear Stacey Wondra tell detectives that Michael Vaughan was laying on the floor in front of the couch on his back. And this is when they start to duct tape Michael up. His mouth, his hands, his feet. And here's Brandon shirtless with a steam cleaner, cleaning up the carpet exactly where Michael was laying. That is not a coincidence. And this was a picture of him posted on Facebook. I remember seeing it. Can't find it anywhere now. If anybody knows where that is or has that picture, I would love to have it. But this is, you know, them getting rid of things that they think could, you know, point in their direction as being the people involved with taking Michael. And like Juanita is saying, things were deleted from those social media accounts before they could serve a warrant on them to get them. But they do know that they exist. So I would really like to know, you know, what kind of evidence they're going to be able to show at trial, because they do know they exist. So how do they know that? They have it in some way, shape, or form, or know about it. Maybe somebody gave a tip or something. I don't know.
When you went in to interview Stacey initially, did he believe, or was there a reason for him to believe that somebody else in his household was cooperating with law enforcement?
The initial?
Yeah, right. On the 10th of November, when he invited you to go and interview him, did he have reason to believe that somebody else in his home was cooperating with law enforcement?
On the 5th of November was the first interview, and he wanted the same deal as what Sarah was getting.
And then going to this talk about an alibi, when did Stacey say, the first statement of Stacey's that you examined, did he indicate that he was in the area or out of the area when Michael went missing?
I believe it said he slept till noon, and at 5 p.m. they towed a vehicle to CUNA.
Okay, and when did that story change?
That interview was done on August 1st, and then he was interviewed by Detective Crimmon on November, I believe it was the 15th of 2021, and that story had changed.
Was he shown anything that made him change his story during that subsequent interview?
I was not interviewing him on that time.
At any time, did you show Stacey a picture of his truck?
I don't remember if I showed him. I know that he had seen it and we'd spoke about it, and he'd spoke about seeing it.
The property in CUNA that gets mentioned several times, are you familiar with where that's at?
Off the top of my head, I believe it's 1125 Snowbell. Please excuse me if I'm wrong on the 1125, but it is off of Snowbell, and the property belongs to Tina Morelli, who is Brandon Shirtleff's mother.
Okay, and is that property in the state of Idaho?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and if one were to drive from the Wondras house to that property, would they mostly be in the state of Idaho?
Yes, they would be.
And speaking of Brandon, so Brandon Shirtleff, was he one of the occupants of the household during this time period?
Yes, he was.
And did he have any connection with, I guess, his family? He has a family property that's somewhat unique. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and what is that property?
It's a green cemetery.
And did you review evidence that showed that Brandon had actually worked in that cemetery?
I don't know if I reviewed evidence. I was told that he worked in that cemetery.
Okay, was there a Facebook post on his Facebook that you reviewed?
I don't remember on that.
So she gives testimony to the fact that, yes, there was a very unique piece of property that Brandon Shirtleff's family owned, and that's the green cemetery that his grandmother owned, that then passed down to Brandon's mother, Tina Morelli. And the reason that this is important is because Brandon did work there. Brandon actually dug a hole at that green cemetery to put his grandfather in. It was either in September or October of 2021, just shortly after Michael Vaughan was abducted. And they did a search at that green cemetery in March of 2025. So just a little over a year, gone up and done a search. And I don't know if they have completed that search or not. It's over 300 acres. I do know that the cemetery isn't in business right now. So that tells me they're not able to do any business as of right now. And this green cemetery, what that is, it's an all natural cemetery. There's no tombstones. Well, there is tombstones. They're made out of all natural rock that have been like carved and stuff, but you don't bury your loved ones in a coffin. They are buried, wrapped up and then just laid and put into the dirt. And they went up and they searched up there because Brandon's father and family also have access to excavation machinery. That is what his dad does for a living. His sister had excavation machinery near him right around the time he needed it to go dig holes, dig a hole to put his grandfather in when he passed shortly after Michael Vaughan. Many have speculated, and obviously even law enforcement has some kind of an idea or maybe got a tip or something like that, that maybe they should go search the Green Cemetery. Because I know at one point I was told by Daniel Guthrie, Sam, have you been out to that Green Cemetery? Law enforcement needs to go out there and look for Michael out there. I've even put a short out about Daniel saying that in a recording that I have. So the Green Cemetery plays a big part in this, just because, it's not every day that somebody takes excavation machinery to dig holes to bury people in a cemetery. And then you've got Brandon Shurtleff, who is a suspect in Michael Vaughan's abduction and murder. And since Michael was moved out of the Wanderer's backyard, could he have moved him to the Green Cemetery?
Stacey mentioned an alibi. Did anyone else in that household mention an alibi?
Yes,
And who was that?
that would be Brandon Shurtleff.
Okay, and what was his statement about an alibi?
His statement was that Stacey called him and they need to get their story straight. The cops were on them about this kid. And Brandon's explanation of what the alibi was to go to his mother's house that night.
Okay, and is that a statement that Stacey corroborated during his interview?
Yes, it is.
And I really hope that Brandon Shurtleff is listening to this, because Brandon, you have a detective who says that you told detectives that you and Stacey had a phone conversation together and that you created an alibi, and that your alibi was going to your mother's house to do that tow. And Stacey said, or you told law enforcement that Stacey said, we have to get our story straight because the cops are on us about this kid. Why do you need an alibi, Brandon? If you're saying that you've never met Michael, you never saw Michael, that you've had nothing to do with his abduction, that you've had nothing to do with his murder, and yet here you are having a phone conversation with Stacey, who says the cops, and you say this, you say Stacey told you that the cops were on you about this kid, talking about Michael Vaughan. And you helped Stacey create this alibi. Your idea. Our alibi will be going to my mom's house. And you knew because you had your car at your mom's house that you guys could tow that car back to Fruitland, and that could be your alibi. But it didn't work, did it? Because here you are talking to detectives about that alibi. Here Stacey Wondra is sitting in court, going to go to trial in September. Sarah Wondra is about to be charged in October. And you are talking to detectives and you're giving them little bits and pieces. You've already told detectives that you saw Stacey and Sarah take the duffel bag and put it in the basement. And here you are telling detectives about this phone conversation that you and Stacey had. Your family members are going to hear this truth. Your friends are going to hear this truth. The world is hearing this truth by Juanita Kelleher's testimony. This proves your involvement in Michael's abduction. Period. It doesn't matter how you want to spend it, Brandon. This proves it. Any conversation that you had with law enforcement is recorded. You know that, right? So 1000% this could be used in court, in trial, at Stacey's trial, because it has to do with Stacey, because you guys created this alibi. You're not going to get away with it, Brandon. You are going to be charged, and it's coming way quicker than you think. So get your attorney ready, wait to be arrested and charged, or get your ass down to Fruitland and tell Fruitland police and detectives where Michael is. Get the deal. Go testify in Stacey Wondra's trial. Give up whatever information that you have to save your ass, if you even can at this point, or keep your attorney sitting by and wait for those charges to come so you can spend the rest of your life in prison and possibly get the DP. The choice is yours, but time is running out, and it's running out quickly.
No further questions, Your Honor. Cross-examination.
Your Honor, can the defense take 10 minutes, please?
Yes, take a recess for 10 minutes. We'll return. It's a quarter after on courtroom clock, or thereabouts, so we'll return 25 after on courtroom clock.
Please rise.
And that is the last of that video, and we will continue Juanita Kelleher's testimony by the defense attorneys. And that video's almost an hour and 40 minutes. We still have an hour and 40 something minutes to go with just her testimony. And Brandy says, Brandon Shirtliff, give me back my son. Why can't you just do that, Brandon? Why can't you just give Michael back? You're already admitting your involvement when you're talking to law enforcement and telling them all of these other little bitty details. We already have cadaver dogs hitting in the backyard, hitting at your mom's house, hitting on the car that you guys brought Michael home in the day after he was abducted. Your ass is already going down. You might as well use Michael to get some kind of deal. Brandy also says, I'm hoping they really push the DP for you, Brandon Shirtliff. I can't, because you know where Michael is and won't get him back. You know, Brandy and Tyler, the Vaughan family, all they want is Michael home. She doesn't even want you to get the DP because you know where Michael is. We don't want anything to happen to you, because then you can't tell the family where Michael is. Even now, many, many times Brandy has said, I will forgive you if you just tell me where Michael is, if you'll just tell me what happened. And even now, wanting to protect you from the DP because she wants her son back. How long are you going to make the Vaughan family suffer? Do you know the longer that it goes, when you do end up getting arrested and you do end up getting charged, all this time that has gone by that you could have said something, just like Stacey, he went over a year before he said something, right? Here you're waiting to say something years later. Years and years later. It's been 4.5, almost 5 years since Michael was abducted. You've had years to say something. You've had years to tell law enforcement where Michael Vaughan is. The longer you wait, the longer you wait, the more penalties you are going to have. The more trouble you are going to be in. No one is going to give you any sympathy the longer you continue to make this family suffer. Do you care at all, Brandon? Or are you this monster? Are you really the monster that everybody thinks that you are? Or are you just plain stupid for not seeing what's actually going to happen to you? Because you, like Stacey Wondra, even though he's in prison, even though he's going to trial, still believes that he's going to get away with it. Do you really think you're going to get away with this, Brandon? Because you're not. It's never going to happen. These sick and demented people, it's never going away. Just like Kelly said, thank you, Kelly, for coming in. I don't know when you came in, hun. We are never going away. Michael Vaughan's abduction and murder can't go away because the family is still living and still suffering from all of it. And we're never going to stop. And yes, like Rowan is saying, the more likely it is that Sarah and Adrian will get a deal. We all know the Brandon Shirtliff or Adrian Lucian says that he was set up by all of you guys to go live in Idaho. Once shit starts hitting the fan, do you really think that, I'm sorry to put it this way, I'm not trying to be racist, but this is exactly what Adrian Lucian himself says. You know, do you really think the black guy is going to take the fall for all of you? Because he says that is the reason why he has been set up, is because he's black. Brandy says it's been 1,743 days, Brandon Shirtliff. You know where Michael is, and you know I will never give up. And Brandy is getting stronger and stronger. Her health is getting better and better. And Brandy Vaughan is ready to talk about everything that her and her family have been through, what they have talked with law enforcement about, how it was looking for their son, Michael, after he was abducted by you, by Sarah and Adrian and Stacey. You're a coward, Brandon, and you show it by every day that goes by that you have not told law enforcement where Michael is. All that pain, all that suffering, you can stop it. And the court will see it after you've been charged, that you still waited and waited and waited. Even after your charge, are you never going to tell where Michael is? Will you never tell? Will you never have that heart? I really hope one of these suspects has a heart and tells law enforcement, tells the Vaughan family where Michael is. And maybe somebody out there knows something. Maybe Sarah or Stacey, Adrian or Brandon has said something to you, has mentioned a place that they like to go to, or maybe they said something that was just really eerie and made you feel very uncomfortable as they were talking about a place that they visit or talk about. Call law enforcement, talk about it, 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. People are still talking. People are still turning in tips. And Adrian and Sarah may have already told law enforcement that Brandon's the only person that knows where Michael is. Go talk to him. It is time. And somebody else out there knows something. If you know anything at all and can help this family get any kind of peace or help bring Michael home, please call law enforcement. Again, that tip line is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. You can be Michael's hero. You can be the Vaughan family hero. They need to bring Michael home so they can lay him to rest. Law enforcement has already told the Vaughan family that Michael has died. These 4 suspects murdered Michael Vaughan. And those are facts. Facts that have been put out by Fruitland. There is none of this. Why do people want Michael Vaughan to be dead? We don't even know. There's no evidence to prove it. People are not privy to all of the information, to all of the evidence. So how could anybody spew lies and rumors and BS that Michael Vaughan is still alive? Don't you think their family wants Michael Vaughan to be alive? You think law enforcement's going to tell a family that their son, their brother, their grandson, their nephew has died in the hands of these 4 monsters without having proof, without having evidence? You have to be able to have some kind of common sense. And obviously, there are people out there that do not have any, zero, zilch, none common sense. And to be out there spreading rumors and to talk crap, it's ugly, it's disgusting, and you're doing it because you have your own agenda. Your own agenda to hurt Brandy Vaughan, to hurt the Vaughan family. Somebody out there, again, knows something, knows maybe why the 4 suspects took Michael Vaughan, why the 4 suspects, or you might know where the 4 suspects were that day. You may have seen them do something. Maybe you witnessed seeing something and you don't even realize it. Call law enforcement, 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Tips are still coming in. It's still an open, ongoing investigation because these 4 suspects obviously worked with other people because somebody was going to buy Michael Vaughan. And you may know something about that. So please come forward and give your information to law enforcement. You can remain anonymous. You can collect over, $50,000 for any information to bring Michael home. I'm going to catch up with some stuff in chat here real quick. Your scars is left. Have a good night. Let's see. Kelly says, how dare you, you coward. It is time to man up, Brandon. Because they are disgusting and cruel and would rather watch a family suffer than to help. And that speaks volumes, because if they're cowards and they want to be cruel, a judge is going to see that in court. Shannon says, unfortunately, I've learned that there are people who don't have any common sense. I have met those people personally, certain people. Yeah, but some people don't have any common sense at all, or they believe their own BS. It's possible that Sarah got a deal. Looks like Stacey did not. If Sarah has the deal, Brandon only hope is going to give Michael back to his family ahead of testimony by others. As far as I know, Sarah has not taken any deal at this point. She still reiterates that she had nothing to do with Michael's abduction. She doesn't know anything about Michael's abduction. And, it's all lies. It's all deflection. Brandy says here, there is no way that J.D. Huff, Captain Matt Sly, Captain Armstrong, Detective Kelleher, Detective Crimmins, Doug Hart, Chris McDonough walk through our front door and apologize for these pieces of trash. And no, there isn't, Brandy. There is no friggin' way law enforcement is going to walk in your house and tell you, we're sorry, your son is dead. There's no friggin' way, unless they have proof, unless they have evidence. So to say that Michael is alive just brings you, your family, more suffering, and that in itself is sickening, disgusting. It's so gross. I don't understand other people's agendas, and I don't want to be in the mind of a person that would actually be out there saying that Michael could still be alive, because there is no way law enforcement would tell you that. And I am so very sorry that your baby boy is gone. No parent wants to hear that. We're supposed to outlive our children. And we're for sure not supposed to live in a nightmare that you and your family have lived in, Brandy, for 4.5 years. I am so, so sorry. And I didn't even know. That's how many law enforcement agencies or how many people came into your house to tell you guys that? To give the bad news. It's just so heartbreaking. It says they don't know who you freaks are. Why would you lie all these years for a child? You took his life. Talk, Brandon. Yeah, Sarah has not gotten a deal. Their day is coming too, Callie says. All in time. Good things come to those who wait. And, just like Brandy, I heard her say in chat earlier that, law enforcement has a plan. They obviously are being strategic about the things that they're doing, the arrests that they're making, everything. Law enforcement has a reason. And we, playing devil's advocate, you want to say you don't like Fruitland, you don't like Fruitland police, you don't like what they've done, they're not making arrests, they're not this, they're not that. You know how many law enforcement agencies have been on this case, that are on this case? There are so many, and I'm learning more and more every day. But it's just not Fruitland. This is multiple agencies making these decisions, not just Fruitland. So there's strategic things going on here, things in the background that we are not privy to. And like Kelly is saying, all in good time, things come to those who wait. And we're waiting patiently for those good things to happen. And those good things are charges, prison cells, and maybe even the firing squad, which I know a lot of people are, wishing for. And yes, Kelly, it is cruel. It's cruel. And it's cruel in the worst way. to make a family suffer this long? When you have details, when you have information, not only could you give Michael back to the family so they could put him to rest, you could tell the story. Is your story, Brandon or Sarah or Adrian, any different than Stacey Wondra, the liar? The Vaughan family wants the truth. You know how many nights they've laid awake thinking about the what ifs? What if this happened to him? What if that happened to him? How long was he alive? Was he alive when he was at the Wanderer's house, or did he die before he left the Wanderer's house? Was he alive all the way to Cuna? Was he outside all night long in Cuna? Did he die before he got there? So many questions unanswered, and it is so very cruel to leave a family waiting and waiting and waiting to what if everything that's happened to Michael, to guess what has happened to him. It is time for someone to come forward. Like I said, September 14th and trial's coming, and we're going to see over 20,000 pages of discovery. That's of evidence for those in the back. Evidence will be brought forth. There will be witness testimony, maybe from people we've never even heard of. And we will wait as long as we've got to wait. Diana says, Brandon, if this was your child that this happened to, would you stop at nothing to bring your child home? Brandon, please give Michael back. Bring some peace to Michael's soul. It's just so gut-wrenching. Shannon says here, I think if somebody's saying that he's still alive, then maybe they should be charged somehow, some way. Because if they can say that, then they are holding evidence that could be helpful, in my opinion. Which is very true, Shannon. I mean, if there's evidence or proof that this person who wants to claim that Michael is still alive and they're holding on to it, and they're not telling law enforcement, or maybe they're handing it over to Stacey's attorney. Who the hell knows? Isn't that hindering? I mean, a lot of things that's going on is hindering. Baby kisses with a super sticker. Let's do a little dance. And thank you so much for that, baby kisses. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody coming in, being a part of Monkey's Army, being here to support Michael and the Vaughan family. Beverly says that she likes and respects Fruitland, Idaho police, and so do I. I really do. They have worked so hard on Michael's case. Yeah, 5 years for lying to LE for law enforcement. 20,000 pages plus. Yes, I remember hearing that too in the preliminary hearing. And it wasn't the prosecuting attorney that said it. It was actually the defense attorney that said 20,000 plus pages of discovery. There was so much of the discovery, they were actually sharing it during, like, to be able to upload it onto a computer using like a thumb drive or something instead of, physically copying out over 20,000 pages of evidence, right? I mean, Stacey's trial is set for 4 weeks right now. That's a lot. That is a long time. How long will prosecutors bring forth their evidence? It's going to take a minute to get through 20,000 pages plus. Michael Vaughan has only been missing baby kisses for 5 years, going on 5 years this July. Marie says that she thought Sarah opened the case by saying, as reported on local news, that the Lord God Almighty told her Michael was buried in the neighbor's backyard. Innocent, LOL. Well, she didn't open up the case because they went and talked to everyone that lived at the Wanderer's house August 1st of 2021. Sarah actually said that the Almighty God told her that Stacey killed Michael and buried Michael in their backyard in November of 2022. So they had already got their eyes on the Wanderers within days, 4 or 5 days of Michael's abduction. Callie says Fruitland Police Department brought back my trust in law enforcement. Huff and Juanita are exactly the type of people that you want working on your family member's case. I wish more people were like them. Juanita and JD Huff are amazing. I met them in person. I have mad respect for them. And let's also throw in Chris McDonough from the Cold Case Foundation, one of the best detectives, especially for missing people in our country, in my opinion, working on Michael's case. Oh, 6 years in jail. Oh, I'm sorry. I was correcting you because I thought you were saying that Michael was only gone for 5 years. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that, baby kisses. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, they were on them the first week. No, I am not playing any more of Juanita Kelleher's testimony tonight. I still need to download that particular video into YouTube. I have everything downloaded into my computer. I just need to get things downloaded onto YouTube. And for whatever reason, I had a problem downloading the last big file, which was 2 hours and 40 minutes. This one is an hour and 40 minutes. And for some reason, YouTube didn't want to download it. So I am having to decode it a couple of different ways. And then I'll try downloading it again onto YouTube to see if that helped, because this encoding, what I get that is on this giant drive has over 30 hours worth of the preliminary hearing on it. And what I have are just, you can push play on them, but it doesn't show a video. All you can hear is like what's going on in court. So I have to encode every single one of the videos using Handbrake and other tools to create the actual video. And for whatever reason, this particular encode YouTube didn't like the encode, so I'm having to redo it all. Thank you, Beverly. I appreciate so much everybody's support for Michael Vaughan, and I know the Vaughan family does too. Fruitland is on the state border. I'm sure the FBI is paying attention. In my opinion, Stacey has implied a connection to Oregon. They used to go over to Ontario, and that's because it was like not even a 5-minute drive. And yes, Sarah's prison mom lives in Oregon. Sarah served time in prison in Oregon. They used to live in Oregon. So there's a lot of things tying them to Oregon. Stacey Wondra even talks about a trip that they took here to Vancouver, Washington, and then way down south of Oregon after Michael's abduction. Callie Dime, it's about to be your brain picking time, sis. You know some of the wonderful minds that have worked on Michael's case as well. I love that you have so much support in here, Brandy, from everyone. I appreciate you guys all being here. Like I said, I may or may not be here tomorrow night. It is going to be our 32nd wedding anniversary. I'm sure my husband's going to take us out for dinner or something. So not sure how tomorrow's going to go, and I'm going to try to get that video downloaded, and I will be back tomorrow, or I will be back here Thursday and Friday. And like I said, in case anybody missed it, Miss Brandy will be joining me in a series of lives to go over Michael's case, to give us all a perspective about Michael's life, about his abduction, what it was like looking for Michael, what their family has gone through over the last 4.5 years. We're going to talk about law enforcement agencies and how they investigated not only the Vaughan family, but how they investigated, Michael's case. We're going to talk polygraphs, suspects, and we'll end the series with a Q&A to give people the opportunity to ask Brandy some questions. Brandy is tired of being quiet. She is ready to talk and tell the world their family's story and what this has done to their family. And this is only the beginning. Brandy has been making some pretty big plans in the background. And she just wants to tell her story to maybe, not only to help heal her and her family, because it is very healing to talk about, but to help other people who are going through the same thing that she's going through or has gone through. It's a nightmare. It is not something you want to live through. And she hopes that maybe her words and her perspective can help another family who's missing their loved one. And Brandy, I can't wait to have you on. And I think that it's going to be truly amazing to have you up on panel and to talk. We've already talked for hours and talked about so much, and I'm still learning more and more, the more we talk. So I know other people that don't know the case as well as I do are going to learn a lot. And we love you and can't wait to have you here. Again, that will start after we're done going through the preliminary hearing, which is probably going to be next week. So please, if anybody has any information, please turn it in to law enforcement 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too big or too small. Let law enforcement decide whether or not your tip is credible, and call that tip in anonymously or collect that $50,000 if you can bring Michael home, get it off your chest. The case is still open, ongoing. They're still looking for Michael, and we need these suspects to go down, even more down than they're already going down. So please call in a tip. And I just want to thank everybody again for being here, for giving support to Michael and the Vaughan family. We love you. Thank you so much for being a part of Monkey's Army. And I can't wait to come back and see you guys. I really missed y'all. So I'm back, and I'm back to working, and there's more things to come. So I'll see you guys on the next live. Thank you guys so much for being here.